Hello, soon to be sixth graders. I am Mrs. Post. I'm the principal of Highlander Way Middle School.
And I'm Mrs. Pelkey. I'm the principal at Parker Middle School.
We're here today to welcome you to middle school and to share a little bit about what it will be like to be a middle school student at Highlander Way or at Parker Middle School. At Highlander Way Middle School, you will meet a number of different staff members, including Mrs. Moorish, our assistant principal.
And if you attend Parker, you will get to meet Mrs. Schmidt, our assistant principal. And then we have two people who help out at both middle schools. That is Mrs. Geringer and Mr. Zages. So you'll get to meet both of those no matter which middle school you go to.
At each of our buildings, we have some MVPs, our most valuable people, and they're our frontline staff. They keep our buildings running smoothly, and you'll see them each and every day of middle school. And if your parents are dropping off a forgotten lunch or coming in for a meeting, they will meet them as well. We're so fortunate here at Highlander Way. We have Mrs. Rausch, our building secretary, and Mrs. Spence in the main office. Their pictures are at the top, right? Then we have Mrs. Folk in our counseling office, as well as Mrs. White in our media center. And our media center is also where you will go, not just for books and ebooks, but also for Chromebooks. More on that later.
And at Parker, our frontline team, you will see Mrs. Hamilton and Mrs. Kettler. They're in the main office you see in the front. And then in our guidance office, you will meet Mrs. Yule. And then we have two staff members in our media center, Mrs. Binns and Mrs. Mohammed.
So what's new about being a Highlander Way or a Parker Middle School student? Our school day begins a little earlier than your school day does now, but we also get out of school a little bit earlier, so it's about the same amount of time. We start our day with an advisory at Highlander Way. It's called Hawk Hour. At Parker Middle School, it's called Patriot Time. And that's our homeroom. It's where you start each and every day, and we learn about our different character strengths called the Positivity Project. You'll study 4 core subjects, just like you do now in elementary school, but instead you'll study those with 4 different teachers. And then each day you have encore classes. There'll be passing time in between those classes. And then you'll use a locker to store your belongings rather than storing them in a desk like you do now. You still have a lunch period that has a little bit of recess. More on that later. Our counselors at Highlander Way are here to help you with all sorts of things, including maybe friendship issues or scheduling issues, or just to help you learn to be a middle schooler. At Highlander Way, they're Mrs. Hasseth and Mrs. Shanavir, and they split up our group of students by their last name. So if your last name begins with A through L, you'd work primarily with Mrs. Hasseth. And if your last name begins with an M through a Z, you begin mostly with Mrs. Shanavir, but they work as a team.
Hi, welcome to Highlander Way. I'm Mrs. Shanavir, and I'm one of the counselors here.
And I'm Mrs. Hasseth, I'm the other counselor. Here at Highlander Way, you're going to have 2 counselors here every day.
I work with students whose last names are M through Z.
And I work with students whose last names begin with A through L. But we work together, so if you need something and one of us is not available, you can definitely see the other counselor.
So at Highlander Way, the counselors are here every day, and you'll often see us in the hallways during passing time. We're available to meet with students individually. We do some group lessons. We will put stuff out on college and career readiness, and we'll do things with lots of things with scheduling.
Okay, as far as scheduling, you are basically scheduling to be a hawk here in the fall, and we want to welcome you. If you have any questions or your parents have any questions, please feel free to contact us here at Highlander Way. and we can help with your scheduling questions.
At Highlander Way, we have a counseling part of the website. So feel free to go to the Highlander Way website, go there, and you'll be able to see our Bitmoji classroom that has lots of other information regarding things that might be important to you for middle school.
We are so excited to welcome you here to Highlander Way, and we will see you at orientation in August.
Have a great summer.
Bye.
Bye.
As you can see, we have a lot of support for students in all kinds of ways, and we are lucky, just like Highlander Way, to have two fabulous counselors. You can tell from their video that they really care about kids and want to help you in any way possible. So we're going to introduce you, if you're going to end up coming to Parker, to our Parker counselors. We have two counselors as well, Mrs. McKeeby and Mrs. Grabowski.
Hello, fifth graders. My name is Miss McKeeby, and I am one of the counselors at Parker Middle School. I have last names right now A through K, so I'm the first part of the alphabet.
Hi, I'm Caroline Grabowski and Mrs. Grabowski, and I have the assigned students with the last names of L through Z.
And we're here as your counselors to support you through anything social or emotional that you're going through, and to help you out with your schedules, and just to be here whenever you need us down in our counseling office.
We look forward to being you guys' counselors, and we can't wait until you're in our building and we get to meet you and get to know you, and we wish you great luck with scheduling and working with you guys next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
So even though our buildings are larger than your elementary school building, we have a great team and people who are here to support you.
So even though we couldn't all come visit you, which would have been great, we wanted you to have a little slice and know who these people are who are here to support you when you come to middle school. Because we know that transition is a little difficult, and there are some things that are different from elementary to middle school. So a few things about a day in the life when you come to middle school is, yes, I know it's hard to get up a little bit earlier, or a lot earlier for some of you, but that 2:20 time that bell rings is really fantastic. And remember, you're going to have every day starting with that Hawk Hour or Patriot Time teacher. And kids really enjoy that time, and it really is a great little family that you're going to have in that first hour. Right now we have block scheduling. So we have A days and B days. So that will help in the transition. It used to be we saw every teacher every day. And this year we have tried something different. So you will have your advisory, Hawk Hour or Patriot Time, and then 3 other classes. And I think that will certainly help the transition for you guys to not be running around to 7 classes. As we know, that's been hard for 6th graders in the past. All students will have a team of teachers. And so what that means is about half of 6th grade when they come in will have one team, the same math, science, English, and social studies teacher. Now that doesn't mean you're in the same classes all together. So in your second hour, you might have English and see some of your friends, and some might end up in your math class, but you're also going to have different kids in that class. But together, those teachers really work to then be, again, a little family within this bigger school to help support those students. So that team of teachers has about half of the 6th grade, and then we have another team at both of our schools.
So
again,
right
that's
now
your math, science, English, and social studies teachers.
So right now, in addition to those core classes, those core subjects that you study in elementary school, you have what you call specials. So which specials do you take now? Well, at middle school, we call them encore classes, and they're not electives. We want you to experience lots of different things when you're a middle school student. There's things that we offer at middle school because we're larger buildings that your elementary school can't offer. And so there's some subjects that you've never studied before, or maybe you've just read about or seen a documentary about somewhere along the way. So we want you to try some new things before you get to high school and you start electing all of those classes. Now, there is an exception to that, and that is either for band or for choir. We have a couple more people for you to meet virtually here from Highlander Way. Mrs. Micah, our choir teacher, and Mrs. Gray, our band teacher.
Hello, fifth graders. I'm Mrs. Micah, and I teach choir at Highlander Way Middle School. Choir is a year-long class in which we will do a lot of singing and learning about how music works. We will sing all different kinds of songs. For example, this year, we learned a song from the Broadway musical Dear Evan Hansen. We learned a song based on a Robert Frost poem, and we learned a country song by Taylor Swift. We sing lots of different kinds of things. If music was a class that you enjoyed in elementary school, or you love to sing with your friends, I look forward to meeting you in choir class in August.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Micah. And now Mrs. Gray, our band teacher.
Hello, fifth graders. My name is Mrs. Gray. I am the band teacher at Highlander Way. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how to choose your instrument. The first step in choosing your band instrument for sixth grade is to join band. Once you've joined, you'll be assigned to a class where either myself here at Highlander Way or Mr. Stimson at Parker will help you to select your instrument. We'll demonstrate all the instruments first, and then you'll get the opportunity to make your choice. Here are your options. You can choose flute, clarinet, alto saxophone, trumpet, trombone, and also percussion. Percussion is drum pad and a small xylophone called a bell kit. And those are your choices. And once you've chosen, we'll start playing together in class every day and enjoying making music together. I can't wait to see you next year, fifth graders. Thanks for listening.
So here at Parker, we have Mr. Stimson, who is our band teacher, and Mrs. Falls, our choir teacher. So let's hear a little bit from Mr. Stimson.
Hello, I'm Mr. Stimson, and I'm the band director at Parker Middle School. I would like to see you join band or choir in your sixth grade year. We would love to teach you more about music, continue what you've learned in elementary, and move you forward through middle school into high school. In band, we will play instruments. I will help you pick that instrument that you will play next year. You do not need to know how to play anything at all right now. There is no prerequisite. You can also be involved in other clubs and sports and still do band. This is something just during the school day. The same thing with choir. We do have other opportunities if you are interested, but this is all done during the school day. So we hope to see you part of our music team. It's like a giant family, and we cannot wait to meet you in the fall. Thank you so much, and go Patriots.
And our other teacher is Mrs. Falls. She is our choir teacher here at Parker.
Hi, incoming sixth graders. My name is Mrs. Falls, and I teach choir at Parker Middle School. Choir is a year-long class, and we learn all sorts of music from all different genres, country, pop, musical. We learn about music history and music theory, and we learn about how the voice works. We have a lot of fun in class, and we become like a family in which you can belong. Next year, we are hoping to produce our all-school musical called Beauty and the Beast. That will be really fun. And if you enjoy making music with your friends, come sing with us next year. Come join us. I look forward to meeting you.
As you can see, our band and choir teachers are very passionate about what they do, and they really make amazing experiences for our students. You heard a couple of them talk about a family. We know that transitioning to a bigger school has some challenges, and then when you are part of a choir or band, that is like a little family, and you get to do some really neat experiences with them. Mrs. Post and I have both participated in choir and band, so we are a little biased and feel like it's a great opportunity. So you don't have to know how to play anything. You don't have to be Beyonce. You are going to be wonderful. So I hope that if you are considering it at all, please sign up. And we'll talk about how to sign up for that when we come to visit you. But there's lots of other encores that we offer. Here are just some of them. And remember, those are ones that you're going to be assigned and we're going to give you an experience. It's a 9-week class, so this isn't all year. The only all year is choir and band. And we think that you're going to get some really neat experiences that maybe you didn't even know you were interested in.
All right, as we continue in our day in the life as a middle schooler, what do you do between your core subjects now? Maybe you take a break, maybe you, that's time for lunch or recess, but for us here, we mentioned that passing time. We have currently 10 minutes to travel between our two classes, and we have our lockers with a combination lock. So students often ask us, what can we do to prepare for middle school? And one of those things you can do to prepare for middle school is to practice using a combination lock. I bet that your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or whomever that you live with has a combination lock around that maybe they've used for a gym locker before. And your teachers often have, your elementary teachers often have one of those combination locks around to help you practice. So we kind of live out of our lockers. That's where our belongings stay safe all day. We don't share them, and we don't share the combination because it keeps everything neat and tidy and together there.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have time to practice those combinations when you come for orientation. And we're going to have some special people that we're going to tell you about who are going to help you with those lockers. So, and that longer passing time really helps. Mrs. Post just showed you, we all also have a key. So
key to your locker.
if you're really struggling, we will definitely make sure that you get that open and get to class. So what new middle schoolers, so 5th graders are usually super excited about is lunch.
I'm really hungry right now too, Mrs. Pelkey.
We always like to eat. And the nice part about it, middle school, is you have more choices. So that's what students are super excited about. If you are into pizza and that's what you want to have every single day, you actually can have pizza every single day if that's what you choose. But there's a great variety of food. So we know that that's something that students are really excited about, and parents can prepay for that food. And you will have 30 minutes at lunch. And that is also some time for you at the end, the last 10 minutes, to go outside and maybe release some of that energy that we have. So I think you're going to really like lunch here in middle school.
All right, we mentioned those Chromebooks and working with our media secretaries. If you need help, you will have a Chromebook, just like you do in elementary school, to use each day in class. Just like your elementary teachers, all of our teachers are using Schoology for posting online assignments. And so that really helps you with homework and helps your parents stay connected. But the difference is in middle school, those go home with you every single night. So that's a great right for you, but it's also a responsibility. So those will be distributed to you in August or right after school starts, sometime August or September. The Chromebook has a good durable case, not indestructible, but good and durable, as well as a charger. And you do use those every day, not all day, every day, but our teachers are so good about keeping themselves and their students organized through Schoology, using the calendar on Schoology. We've just noticed a great growth in our students' responsibility at both Parker and Highlander Way this year. If you ever have a problem with your Chromebook, our Media Center is here to help you. But the number one problem our students talk about is their Chromebook doesn't have any battery, hasn't been charged. And that's something that your folks can help you choose a place where it should live. At my house, when my own son was in middle school, and even now when he's in high school, it gets charged on our kitchen counter. There's a spot where we are not eating, and it gets plugged in there every night. So that's a good thing to start thinking about now, where your device might be charged at nighttime.
Mm-hmm. And as you're thinking about where your device is, another thing to think about is, where is your quiet space going to be for homework? So if you don't have that already, hopefully you do. And certainly maybe being home last year had you develop a space, maybe forced us to all develop a space, but try to find that space and time that doesn't have the distractions. That's really hard now with devices and everything else. So that is really difficult. And then plan around 60 minutes per day. That time might be with studying, finishing homework, finishing assignments, and then that practice that you have. So depending on the classes that you have that day, remember that's practicing some math problems, that might be some vocabulary. So think about an hour between Monday and Thursday. I know that homework seems to be a stress for 6th graders when they come. I will tell you that your teachers will support you. And with the longer block, typically all that homework is started in class. You can ask your teacher about it, get some help. And so when you go home, it's not foreign to you. You are usually just finishing up maybe what you weren't able to finish in class, or do some extra practice like math problems.
So we've hopefully given you a little taste of what it would be like to be a middle schooler, which is going to be here sooner than later. But we want to tell you about a couple of other opportunities. Mrs. Pelkey has mentioned orientation. There is a special orientation just for sixth graders, and it's called WEB, and that means Where Everybody Belongs. Our sixth graders at both Parker and at Highlander Way Middle School get to have their very own orientation. Sorry, parents, it's a lot of fun, but us grown-ups don't get to be there. The kids, we have eighth grade students next year that will apply for and be accepted to be leaders. They will actually lead this orientation with small groups of students and help them get to know the building, try their locker combination out, take a small tour. It has been a game changer for us here at middle school. Both Mrs. Pelkey and I were principals of our buildings before WEB. And when WEB came along, we never, ever want to go back. Our sixth graders come in confident and sure and ready to start their year here as a middle schooler. So it's a great chance for you to get to know the building without any stress. No bells are ringing. You're not going to be late, nothing like that. So just know that will be happening in August. So parents, look for those dates when they come along. We'll send those out to you, and you'll get them in the mail. You'll get them via email. You'll get those dates many different ways so that you're sure to be here. And then we'll have other opportunities for open house and orientation once the school year gets going as well for our parents too.
And if you take a look at the pictures, you can go back 1 second, you'll see that at the bottom picture, you get these small groups and you're going to meet a WEB leader. And then if you see there's a part there in a classroom, that's actually during advisory. So your WEB leader at times, the same one you met before school, may at times we'll see you in your advisory, check in on you. And remember I was talking about the lockers and someone to help you. And you see our WEB leaders with their bright shirts. I don't know what color this year. They pick a color every year, but it's always a bright color. So you see them and they will wear those when school starts. So you will know, even if it's not your WEB leader, you will know that that person is in the sixth grade hall there to help you by your locker. So we've got a lot of support from teachers, from counselors, from administrators, but really some of our best support is from our eighth grade leaders in WEB. So they're going to be by your locker, helping you out and even teaching you if you're stressing out about that locker comm, they're going to be there to help you.
All right. So we can't wait to welcome you here. We've got pictures of each of our buildings on this slide, but long before August, really in just a few weeks, less than a month away, we will come and visit our in-person classes, and we'll be there together, Mrs. Pelkey and I, live, socially distanced. Now we'll have our masks on that day, so you'll have to just remember what our smiles look like. And then we'll visit with our Highlander virtual students on April 8th. We'll have a scheduled Zoom with our Highlander virtual teachers and our students in those classes. And then parents, each of our buildings will have our own parent night at Highlander Way or at Parker Middle School on April, on April 8th, that should say. That's the same day as our Highlander virtual visit. Sorry, we decided to add those dates in here at the last minute. So we'll fix that. And when this is posted on the website, it will read correctly. All right. We're so glad that you took the time to get to know middle school a little bit, and we can't wait to get to know you.
Yep. So if you think of any questions that you might have, we'll do a quick question and answer when we come and visit you April 7th. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Future Patriots, future Hawks, we will see you soon.